So welcome back to Teanomix, where we talk about everything tea and how tea can help optimize your life. Today is going to be a special one, a bit more personal, since we're going to talk about my top 8 essentials when it comes to drinking tea. There is no order of importance, and these are just the 10 things that I kind of always have with me whenever I am brewing or drinking tea. The first essential definitely has to be tea itself. Now, I drink all kinds of tea throughout the day. Depends on my mood, depends on what season it is. I try to introduce a nice diversity. In front of me are shameless plug tea that we currently have in our store. And here we have the Dongting, one of my favorites, oolong itself. And then Sui Shin. I usually drink this during the afternoons. And this yellow one is a top shelf tea guaning. And then we have the High Mountain oolong tea itself. Most of this are oolong based tea that I drink. I just like the aroma and flavor that comes from oolong. As you can see, we still hand wrap our packaging to keep that vintage feel. The other two types of tea that I also drink are black and cream. So yeah, those are the 3 kinds of tea that I currently rotate through, and yeah, the first essential. You're not getting any tea time if you don't have tea. And the second on the list is a tea brew device. It's manual. Here's a little dial to open and close the valve, and it's really easy to use. You just open the lid, and then you just pour the desired amount of tea to the upper compartment here. Pour in your hot water and let it steep. So the tea will be here sitting brewing. You just wait a few minutes and then you just turn the dial here. The tea will come to the bottom compartment here. After that, I just remove this and I can drink my tea straight from this cup. Very simple. And just found this very handy. Nice equipment to have to brew my tea. So yeah, essential number 2. And this right here is where I store my tea. The tea that I currently have in rotation. You need cans like this that can be sealed airtight and then stored away somewhere cool, dry, dark. Very important to preserve the freshness of your tea by having the right home. So there's a dedicated space for all the tea that I drink. And they all go in canisters first. And now we have the fourth. This is a tea spoon to scoop the tea out the bags. You can use anything to scoop really, but this right here adds to the whole experience. It's a bit more traditional and essential, and I use this every day. And of course, while having tea, why not have some snacks? So I usually eat walnuts. Very good for your health, good for your brain. Yeah, 7 to 8 pieces. If it's not walnuts, I also eat almonds. Just something to snack on when having tea. Now next on the essential list is a book. So this is currently in rotation as well. Mark Echo's book called A Label. This has to do with, building your own brand without selling out. Reading is like doing mental push-ups, and to me, this is a good pastime. Instead of using my iPad or phone to read, I have a book, so I can go analog. And then the next essential is, well, you don't see it. You don't get to see it because it's really just time for myself. This is when I simply step into emptiness, no distractions, noise, stimulants. I switch off all thinking. So in other words, I'm disconnecting from the external and internal world. Okay, there's no thinking about the past or future. I'm just letting my brain relax. It's like the cleansing of the mind. You see, the mind is always filtering and processing reality. And by stepping back, you start to remember that you are not your mind. So don't get owned by it. Don't become a prisoner of your own thoughts. So I do this because it really helps energize and bring clarity to just everything in life. So if life or reality was a movie, you're leaving the theater. This is what stepping into emptiness is all about for me. All right, to just release and be fully present, to really feel full, complete inside emptiness. Yeah, emptiness, and just stepping into it while coming back to yourself. Next on the list is a digital scale. So use this to get the precise amount of tea leaf before brewing them. Other than picking the right tea, you also want to make sure that you are putting the right amount of tea with the right amount of time and pouring the right amount of hot water at the right temperature. It's always good to know how much tea you're putting in, so next time you can replicate the success you had from before or avoid, the brew that failed. when you approach everything with a bit more precision. And this right here is an electric kettle. It has been with me for over 5 years, and it still serves me well. Still does its job every single time. With an electric kettle, I can now set the exact temperature that I want to boil my water. So temperature control, very important. Again, you want to get all the variables correct. I have a digital guide on how to brew your tea like a tea maestro, which you can check out later at Teanomix.com. This right here is definitely one of the top 3 essentials. Without this, well, the water is not going to boil itself. I know this is something that you see a lot of coffee drinkers use, this gooseneck design. Whatever boils hot water can be used for tea as well. And yeah, this is stainless steel, 304 inside. So yeah, one of my top 3 essentials definitely has to be this right here. I would say precision is definitely what separates the rookies from the pros. So when you dial in all the properties correctly, that's when you can finally get yourself a perfect brew. The next essential would definitely be my computer. If I'm not just reserving the time strictly for myself, then hey, tea and a bit of work. Doing my creative line of work, learning, writing, always nice to have tea to accompany the journey. So yeah, this right here, my workhorse. Before tackling any decent amount of work, always a good idea to have some tea first. It puts you in that sweet, nice, relaxed high. Yeah, cloud nine kind of vibe. Black tea, green tea, oolong, all these work. Just give it some time. See what works for you. All right, so that's it. My top 10 essentials when it comes to making tea. Hope you found this helpful, enjoyable. What are your essentials? What do you usually drink tea with? What do you do? If you enjoyed this, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And yeah, I want to thank you for your time. See you in the next one.